All right. Let's see. Share. Okay. Let's see. What we got going on here? Yeah. Looking at a lot of things I don't understand. Good evening. Good evening. Pray that it is well with everyone this evening. This is Pastor Dixon here. Good evening, Robin. I hope the weather is good up in your area of South Carolina, the Aiken, Augustus area. Pray that it is well with you. Thank you for that information that you helped me out with yesterday. It was definitely immensely appreciated, and to be able to make the connections that and to reach out to the people who who were definitely affected by the tragedy that happened in Jersey City. Donna, good evening. Good evening. Make sure that you all let me know that we have good audio and visual. Give me a thumbs up, a like, or something like that, just to let me know that all is well. I'm gonna wait a little while, a couple of minutes or so, let some folks get on. Once again, I'm here in my vehicle, and I guess you all wonder why I'm always in my car. Well, for one thing, I'm always headed somewhere. But also, I get better reception, better Wi-Fi reception in certain locations when I'm in my car. So, at least until I get that worked out, it is what it is. Regia, my sister, how are you? Yeah, we'll get together sometime soon, because your school, the arts, these are some things that are crucial toward where the coalition is going and what we're going to be doing. Especially the way that we did that collaborative effort with the Latino community. I definitely want to build on that. You see, because the coalition is not a black organization or a Latino organization or a white organization. This is an all organization. Our Native American brothers and sisters will be involved in where we're moving in this. And basically, the unifying factor for the coalition will be the fact that everybody involved has either been victimized by this oppressive system or is an ally who understands this oppression and wants to be a part of the solution. So we will definitely be partnering up with our good friends in the Latino community, our good brothers and sisters in the Native American community, our various religious factions, no matter who they are, because oppression is what it is. And it's not specific to any particular group. And I've learned a lot in recent years about the similarities that come with oppression. And once we understand how similarly we've been oppressed by a system, the more we can learn to work together to overcome and defeat that system. Yeah, this is some early Facebook Live knowledge dropping right now, for sure. But we'll build on that more. Jameer, good to see you. Evangelist Pat, how are you doing? Good to see you. Great to see all of you, as a matter of fact. Not good, but great. Wishing season's greetings to one and all. Season's greetings. Season's greetings. Sometime in the world we live in today, we got to dig deep to find out where the season's greetings are. But please, I encourage everybody, find that spot, find that place. There's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hardship going on right now. A lot of things, a lot of frustrations, but, we can still find a place to rejoice in spite of all of the things that we're going through. So we're going to wait a little bit longer, give some more people a chance to get on. The parking lot is cool that I'm at right now. All is well. Man, it's been a lot happening. A whole lot. Some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, I'm going to talk about and give an update on Mrs. Higgins, our good friend who was forcibly moved from her home, from her apartment, because of a septic tank overflow that backed up into her apartment. This was 2 days before Thanksgiving, so I have an update on that. We're also going to talk about the coalition's 7th MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day rally that was scheduled for January 20th, or I was trying to schedule it for January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, right after the parade in Charleston. There's, as some of you have probably seen, I posted something saying that it was going to be canceled early today, and I'll just give some more information on all of that, because there are a lot of people wondering, well, what's happening, and I just want to clarify it for you. I think the more information that I share at any given time, the better it'll be if, for whatever reason, I might not be around. These are things that you'll need to know. Monica, good evening. How are you, my good sister? For sure. It's always great to see you. Yeah, the more we share this information, I'm not into keeping information to myself. I'm not a gatekeeper. Gatekeepers are those people that leave everybody on the outside while they try to do everything by themselves, and then all of a sudden at the end want to say, well, come on in and stand with me. No. No. I'm in the education for empowerment. And that's why I'm having these lives. That's why I'm kind of glad I started doing this during the campaign, because I do believe that we can become stronger together through this educational process using this modern technology called Facebook Live. Don't cost nobody anything. All you got to tune in. And then you can holler at your boy anytime that you want to. Bob, how you doing? Good to see you. Man, keep doing the great work you're doing. I got a couple of things that I got to find out about the rally, okay? And I know it's still a fluid fluid environment, but I got to get an idea about when we're looking at, what time, when we're looking at in particular. And of course, right now, I don't know if you saw it earlier today, I'm having some issues with Marion Square, so we need to probably touch base about that. The rally I'm talking about, people, is the Impeach and Restore rally, in light of what's happening in Washington, D.C. with the impeachment proceedings that are moving forward in the House. And of course, those proceedings, once they leave the House, I'm sure it's going to pass, because we have a Democratic majority in the House. I'm sure it's going to pass, but it's going to go over to the Senate, and then there's a whole another process there when the actual impeachment takes place. One section recommends it and gives the information, then it goes to another section to be moved forward on as far as this impeachment. Personally, if this was my Congress, we wouldn't be wasting the people's time or their energy, And I'm so happy that we've gotten to this point. And the reason being that, some of y'all know I got a criminal background, right? Some of y'all know that. Never once in my criminal background, when I was found to have enough evidence against me for a crime, did I get to wait. No, they came, they picked me up, they processed me, they locked me up in jail until I went to court. Period. So our beloved president, they have the evidence against him, but they've delayed doing what they could have done actually over a year ago. So it is what it is. Some people got it like that, but most of us, you and I, don't do no dirt. Let me tell you that, because you ain't going to get that break. You ain't going to be able to tell them, well, they're not going to say, well, an election is coming, wait till, let it go until then. No, they ain't going to do that. I don't care what it is that you do. They ain't going to do you like that, Some people got it like that, some don't. Michelle, good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. So another minute, and then we're going to get started. I say this every time that we do. I'm not going to be on there long every time I start, and it wind up being over 30 minutes. So hopefully tonight I'll be able to keep it at about 30 minutes, including this intro right here. I want to be very conscious of everyone's time, especially tonight. So, in the matter of Mrs. Higgins, okay, for those who don't know, Miss Higgins was displaced from her home because of a sewage overload in her house. Video and things have been on my page for a while. Many people stepped up and helped out during that time because the property management, the people who own the apartment complex, actually did nothing, not even to communicate with her for almost 2 full weeks. Okay, this happened 2 days before Thanksgiving. Her Thanksgiving was ruined. Her apartment was ruined. She hasn't been able to go back into her apartment since November 26th. And the apartment complex basically ignored her. Well, first off, now things are better. Things are better. She's still in a hotel, but now the apartment management, they're taking care of the bill there. She's in a place with a kitchenette, so she can actually cook and things like that. It's wheelchair accessible, so things are a lot better now, but it only happened over the last couple of days because this company basically ignored her for 2 weeks, 2 full weeks. In that time period, there were good people like you and other people, folks who stepped up, contributed to the GoFundMe page, which the GoFundMe is still up. The link is on my page. I'll have to post it a little bit later in case anybody still wants to contribute, because she still has her regular needs. And the matter of fact is, I'd like to see people contribute just because of the fact that here it is, the holiday season. She's been put out of her home. She's a dual amputee with a family, wheelchair bound. Her Thanksgiving was ruined, and at least, I would just ask everybody, if you can contribute something, do so to make her Christmas better. She deserves better. She's a good woman, a God-fearing woman. Her husband, this whole incident had her in the hospital. She was hospitalized on Sunday with a heart issue. Okay, no doubt stress-induced heart issue over this whole thing. And they had to do surgery, actually, Monday morning to put a stent in to her heart. Good woman, good husband. Her husband has pancreas troubles. This thing, they both were admitted on Sunday into the hospital, and he hasn't come home yet. So yeah, I'm going to encourage those who, Jesse, good seeing you, brother, those who can, to continue to put a little something here or there into the GoFundMe account. And let's see if we can turn this around so they can at least have a Merry Christmas and start the 2020 year off better and without remembering the events that happened on Thanksgiving 2019. That's on us, okay? What we can do in order to make life better. But, excuse me, until then, she sends her deepest thanks and regards to everyone, those who gave, those who thought of her, those who said prayers, and those who had decided in their hearts, if it came to the point where we needed to hit the streets, who were ready to hit the streets. This means so much to her. When she speaks about her gratitude for all of you, she does so with tears in her eyes. Tears of gladness and thanks for those who cared enough to care for her. Taisha, Conita, how y'all doing? Who cared enough for her. And it just does my heart good to hear her just that gratitude, that thankfulness for people who she never knew, never heard from, wouldn't know right now today, who thought enough about her to look out for her during her most serious time of need. That's not over yet, okay? So please keep up the great work. You all are amazing. You're amazing. We must understand that this is our job. We are our brothers and our sisters' keepers, okay? And we never know. None of us knows the next moment when we'll need someone, when we'll need help. But we need to know that in our serious situations, that our community will rally around us and help us. And Mrs. Higgins sends her love and her gratitude, and asked me to please convey that to all of you tonight when I'm on this Facebook Live, to let you all know how much she loves you and how much she appreciates you. Gina, good to see you. Mark, good to see you also. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, she has an attorney who's representing her, okay? And he sent some information into the property managers that I'm sure helped to move the needle after 2 weeks. But there's a backstory to it that I want you all to understand. And that's the fact that folks that have been on this live, folks that have been watching on my Facebook pages, folks who understand that the coalition is in the process of moving into a formal organization, civil rights organization, it's been communicated to these people that the community itself is organizing and has been organizing and mobilizing to make a presence in support of Mrs. Higgins. Now, I don't know if that's what helped to move the needle and to get them spurred up to doing what they needed to do, but I want to believe that our mobilization, our organization, our organizing, and the threat of us getting in the streets and getting in their face, I want to believe that that also helped to move the needle forward as far as them making the decisions to do the right things now. And they are doing a lot better right now. I mean, it's not perfect because this is still a process, but they're doing a whole lot more right now at the point of just saying, we understand your situation and we are going to help. And I want to believe that it's the organizing and mobilizing that we, through this broadcast and through communication on social media, that our coming together helped to move them to make the decision, along with the lawyer, to make the decision. We better not overlook this person any longer, because them folks getting ready to come for us. And that's the reality. Khalif, what's going on? Janita, how you doing? Yeah. Stay warm in Chicago, please. Okay? Much love to you. But I want to really believe that that's, the reason why, one of the reasons why they decided to do the right thing, because we did what we're supposed to do as a community, and that's rally together in order to protect those in our communities. Yes, she does need to be compensated fully for her trauma. That's right. So we haven't gotten to that point yet, so I'm encouraging everybody, don't drop the guard. Stay focused. Understand that it might come to that point where we do have to get in the streets. And I'm not talking about no 5 people or 10 people. I'm talking about we need 50, 100 people if we ever get to that point. Because we will continue to be misused as a people until we stop accepting that misuse. Remember my last feed, my last live, I said it, Frederick Douglass. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never has and it never will. And until we are mobilized and that demand comes from a loud voice from the community, power will not do anything. So if by chance that Mrs. Higgins is not taken care of, Lisa, Faye, how y'all doing? All right. Is not taken care of, and taken care of not minimally adequate like we like to talk about in South Carolina, but compensated well for her displacement that was caused by this company. Get ready. Get ready. We will need all hands on this, all hands evolution, okay, as we used to say in the military. And all hands will be needed in order to successfully make sure that Mrs. Higgins is taken care of and taken care of properly. Not minimally adequate, but properly, for sure. And we will prove Frederick Douglass to be right, that power concedes nothing without demand. It never has and it never will. Because we will demand that power do the right thing. And that power in that situation is the property management in charge of that facility where she had to leave. Okay. Right now, I'm gonna really appreciate what they're doing right now. But this is not the end game right now. The end game is her being made whole by everything that she was displaced from. That's the end game. And until we get to the end game, I must encourage everybody, please. Activism is not like a pop-up event. You can't just get hot and then go away, because power don't understand that. Well, power does not react to that. Let me put it that way. Power does not react to that. Power reacts to a sustained presence. We got to be in this for the long haul. This is a process. Once we start advocating for a cause, we can't just pop up or just have a press conference and then go back to business as usual, because power is going to say, oh yeah, we got them, we good to go. They didn't blew off their little steam and they going back. No, we got to stay in their face. When we get the ball on our own 1 yard line, we need to not let up the pressure until we cross their goal line. We not only need to run that ball, we need to pass it. We need to run over people. We need to make sure that we have control of the ball, and we need to make sure that at the other end of the field, we make a touchdown. With all causes, that's right. Not just with Mrs. Higgins. I'm talking about with our educational system. We got a school board and a school system that is messing over our children totally. I hate to say that it's their plan, but that's what it looks like. And many of us are just as naive about them and whatever. Oh, they're the school board. Man, them people they ain't got no love for your children. That's for sure. There are some who do. Shout out to Kevin Hollenshed, who continues to do the work. Be that agitator in there that's letting the people's voice be heard with that board. But we can't do that. We can't drop our guard when the fight for 15, or let the fight for 15 be out here by themselves. We sitting back working 2 and 3 jobs and saying, man, I wish I had $15 an hour, but won't get out to do anything about it. You see, activism is about being in it for the long haul. We can't be pop-up agitators or Facebook ninjas and all of this here. We got to be about it. And as the coalition, I'm just asking everybody, once we open up the doors for people to get in, we need to make sure that we are in it for the long haul. Sustained, superior performance that's going to make power do what we demand. Period. Yes, sir, Mark, you're absolutely correct. Segregation does exist in Charleston County School District, without a doubt. And at the end of that segregation, Jim Crow 2020, if we don't do something about it, poor children of color are going to suffer. There's a reason why North Charleston has 8 of the worst schools in South Carolina. And the population in those schools are predominantly African American and poor. There's a reason for that. And our school district, our school board, has had the power to change that a long time ago, and they haven't done it. You know why they haven't done it? Let me give you a clue. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never has and it never will. So if we want to change that, we need to make the demands, and we need to have a sustained presence on this demand. Monday is a school board meeting, 5:15. We need to be there. And we need to, for those that can be there, we need to be there. And we need to make sure that every time that the school board is meeting that we're there. They ain't playing with us, and they ain't playing with our children. Like Michael Jackson said, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. And this Pastor Dixon, they don't like what I say, they can holler at your boy too. You know, I ain't scared. Straight up. First off, I'm too old to be scared of anything. I'm not running. I'm too old to run. Born and raised in the hood. Straight out of the south side of Chicago. Been to prison. So, I mean, what they gonna do to me? What they gonna do to me? So I'm gonna keep speaking this truth. I'm gonna keep spreading this truth, and keep trying to bring us together in order to make sure that power understands that we are going to demand what's right for our children, for our community, and for individuals within our community. We ain't gonna let nobody run us over no more. It's time for a change. $15 an hour? Man, we need to get, this ain't slavery no more. Free labor is over. It's time for us to demand that we get paid according to 2020 pay scales. Period. Especially while we look at CEOs of these corporations giving themselves $1 million bonuses, buying airplanes and stuff like that. And they make that money because of the folks that get up every day and go to work. But they don't want to take care of them. MUSC, I'll be back at the board meeting tomorrow morning, letting them know we tired of mistreatment down at MUSC. It's a whole lot of people that work at MUSC that can't afford to get sick and go to the hospital at the place where they work at. That's ridiculous. That's why we need universal health care. That's one thing. But also we need to make sure that MUSC is paying a fair rate. And I don't care about no contract services or not. Okay, then that's the way that they get around it. They farm the jobs out to contract services so that the contract services can keep their employees at a minimum wage without benefits. We got to change that around. We have got to change that around. And the only way we're going to do it is if we join forces, we merge forces. We understand that those merged forces and mobilization has got to be for the long haul. And then we demand that power concede. Because we are the power that will change the power. All right? This is real. This is simple stuff. This is real simple stuff, okay? The gun violence in our community. We don't have to accept that. We don't have to turn around every day and on the news we hear about this person shot and that person dead. We making t-shirt makers rich and funeral home directors rich. No. Talking about rest in peace? No. We need to talk about live in peace. How about that concept? Let's promote that. Let's begin to talk to a demographic out here about how we work together and we live together and how our differences don't make us enemies. Let's talk about that. And quitting allowing, these divisions to cause bloodshed and harm. And quit allowing guns to be flooded into our community. When the reality is we don't make no guns, just like we don't make no dope. Why we got all these guns in our community? Let's trade the guns for books. You feel me? And let's let our children learn about or be educated as far as the world system and what's available for them, and not how to break down a firearm or how many bullets it carries or how to set it up or how to go get it when I just got a little problem with the next door neighbor. It's time for a change. It's time for a change. But we got to be in mobilization. We have to be in it for the long haul. And I'm asking everybody, once I get the incorporation papers down, the 501c3 and the C4. A lot of people don't understand 501c4. But 501c3, that means we can only advocate just so much. I think it's like 10%, 5 or 10%. That means that, in other words, we can't speak out about injustice because the government has control over what you can say as a 501c3 nonprofit. And I'm going to tell y'all what, two things. Neither Pastor Dixon nor the coalition will ever have their voice silenced. Ever. And that's why we'll be also a 501c4. 501c4, you can advocate all that you want. We'll have two different arms. One as the nonprofit 501c3, and the other as the nonprofit 501c4. And there are stipulations as far as how donations can be made into those different C3s or the 501 groups that differentiates between the two of them. So, and I'm not going to get all into that tonight, but it's about the voice. Yes, we do want to have nonprofit status, but we also want to make sure that the voice of the people is never silenced. It's been silenced too long. That's why we're in the condition we're in right now. And God bless all of those that came before, all the other organizations that came before the coalition. God bless them, you know. But when we look at the condition we're in right now, when we look at the lack of participation right now, when we look at the fact that 18 to 40-year-olds are not involved and engaged in their community because gatekeepers have kept them out of those organizations, it's time for a change. And this organization is going to be accepting and respecting of a new voice and a new demographic in order to prune and to groom new leadership for a new generation. I'm old, and I don't know how much time I got, but I'm gonna make sure every one of you that are younger than me, who wants to understand the civil rights struggle and to be involved and to lead the next generation, that you have an opportunity to feed off of whatever I got. Okay, for sure. I'm not insecure in my position. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not trying to keep this all to myself. Matter of fact, I'm recruiting folks. Please, let's go to work. Let's go to work and change these horrible conditions we live in. But as I say, we must be in it for the long haul. Alrighty? Y'all with me? As I transition from Mrs. Higgins through the coalition into this next area. And the next area is about the coalition and our 7th annual rally. They were originally called Rallies for Peace and Justice, okay? The coalition's 7th annual Martin Luther King Day Rally for Peace and Justice. I submitted permit paperwork. We've had this rally for the last 7 years in Marion Square down in Charleston. And it happens after the Charleston Martin Luther King Day Parade every year. So the parade starts at like Burke High School and it ends at Mother Emanuel, which is right next to, you have to pass right by Marion Square. So after the parade, we gather up in Marion Square for a rally dealing with social justice issues. We've covered everything from gun violence to health care to public education to labor and all of these things over the years. And this year, we're doing a repeat on the title that we've done before. The title is South Carolina is Still Killing the Dream. And instead of dealing with all of the social justice issues, we're going to deal with three specific issues. Those 3 issues, and these are all issues that Dr. King, when he was alive, he championed, okay? Well, 2 out of the 3, let me put it that way. So, this year we're going to deal with labor, okay? Dr. King was a labor advocate. He advocated for fair wages and working conditions and everything. As a matter of fact, when he was killed, he was in Memphis in support of the sanitation workers' strike. Okay. Now, why is it about, why do I say that the rally is titled South Carolina is Still Killing the Dream? Well, when it comes to wages, we are not paying people accordingly. We're one of the highest poverty level cities in the nation, or states in the nation. And when it comes to union, do I need unions? Do I need to say anything more? Dr. King, he was a strong supporter of unions. As a matter of fact, one of his favorite unions was the nurses union, 1199A. The same ones who came here in support of the 1969 healthcare workers or medical workers strikers, 1 year after Dr. King was killed. He was a strong union man. So why is it that I titled this South Carolina, the coalition titles this South Carolina is Killing the Dream? Because it doesn't make sense for me with legislators in South Carolina, people who are in charge of passing law, are anti-union and won't give people a fair wage. I don't understand why they're taking the day off. They don't represent what Dr. King stood for, so go to work. You out here got a grill going or standing in front of watching a parade on a day to honor somebody that you don't even believe in. Come on, somebody. That's why I say that South Carolina is still killing the dream. So that's one of the issues that we're going to look at in this next rally that we're planning for January 30th. The other is public education. I don't need to say anything else about Dr. King's position on public education. You see, segregation 50 years ago has evolved now into privatization. Charter schools, school choice, what they call it. School choice is the new age segregation, school segregation, Jim Crow segregation in the 21st century. That's exactly what it is. And folks can say what they want to say, but the reality is that's exactly what it is. Now, Dr. King, he fought to end segregation. He fought for quality education, public education, for all. But in a state that is drawing further into the area of privatization, basically further drawing the lines of segregation between the haves and the have-nots. Why are those people that are doing it, why are they celebrating Dr. King's birthday? Why are they celebrating Dr. King's holiday? Why? They don't believe in what he stood for. Go to work. Go to work. The only people that should be out at the parade are people who support and stand for what Dr. King stood for. Let them go to work, for sure. And there's so many other things. Healthcare. Healthcare is a human right. Dr. King believed in that. In a state like South Carolina, where Nikki Haley, former governor, said that over her dead body, she would expand Medicaid. And because of that, people have died because of that. I say to Nikki Haley, if you still believe in that, which she does, go to work on King holiday. You don't believe in what Dr. King stood for. And I say that to anybody and everybody. It makes no difference. You either believe in what the man stood for, or don't be flogging. Don't stand up like some kind of self-righteous hypocrite. Talking about, yes, Dr. King. I had a dream. Yeah. You ain't in that dream. You're doing everything you can to make that dream a nightmare. You're killing that dream. And the other point that we're actually going to approach is going to be gun violence. Dr. King very rarely actually touched on gun violence itself, but the way that he died, that gives us free license to address that issue of gun violence in many different ways. So we're definitely going to be addressing gun violence at this rally also. Dr. King shouldn't have left us when he did, or the way that he did. Just like there's so many who have lost us to gun violence along the way. Too many to name, who should still be here, but because of a gun. So yes, we are going to address that issue also. Faye, I don't know what happened. You say, what happened? No sound. I don't know. I haven't done anything on this end, that's for sure. Hopefully everybody else is still able to hear. I hope so. But back at it. We'll also, though, be, but not focused on the other issues. Like I said, healthcare and all the other issues that social justice issues. We'll talk a bit about gentrification and things like that. But it's going to be a good rally. And I keep saying it's going to be, even though I got that report that we were not going to get approved for the permit, I'm still believing right now that we are. I have some people working in the background that are trying to convince the powers that be that for 7 years we haven't had this problem. When I first had our first rally, I had a problem over the same issue, and it has to do with liabilities. But they waived that, or they made a consignment, and I think it was because of the good that we were doing as far as presenting this truth in order to help our community. I think that's what it was about. So now something happened though this year where they're saying, well, you know, we can't move forward because of this liability clause. I don't know. It might have something to do with the property owners. And let me explain Marion Square for you. Marion Square, even though that's a City of Charleston public park, it's actually owned privately. And it's owned by this group called the Sumter Guard Board of Officers and the Washington Light Infantry. For those of you who don't know, those organizations are Confederate heritage organizations. They are, you know, strong supporters of the heritage aspect of the Confederacy. I don't know them personally enough to say that they deny the slavery aspect of the Confederacy and that there was the reason for it. But when I look in Marion Square, what do you see? You see John C. Calhoun sitting 100 feet up above everybody. You got the Daughters of Confederacy statuary all around there, you know, while Denmark Vesey is over in Hampton Park, you know, and Robert Smalls is nowhere around over there. But, you know, and I'm not going to say that they are the reason why this is being held right now, because it might not be them. But that's just a bit of history that you should actually know about. The powers that be, there's somebody that's looking into that, into getting that fixed so that we can have this rally. There's a way that we can get around it, a loophole that we could use. But I've told a few people today, I don't want to use the loophole. Why? Because why do we have to do anything different than anybody else would when it comes to that? Why do we have to do, let me put it this way, why do we have to do anything different than what we've done for the last 7 years? It's not a loophole, that's a jump through a hoop hole. Why you want to make us jump through the hoop in order to have an event where we're talking about getting people paid, getting our children educated, and stopping people from dying? Just that simple. Why not support that? This is an event that the mayor of Charleston has spoken at every one of our rallies. Every one of our rallies. Event where we partner with law enforcement, because that's what we do as the coalition. We're not enemies. We might differ on some things, but we're not enemies. And until we learn to work together, then we're still going to have the problems that we have today. We have to learn to work together. And that's for sure. So I don't know where this is all coming from, but I'm going to believe that it's all going to work out, and it's all going to work out well enough in time. Other side of that coin is power concedes nothing without demand. We need to keep organizing, people. Might come a time between now and January 20th where we as an organized unit called the coalition need to step up our game. Possibly. Okay, I just want to put that out there. So that's where we're at. The permit is on the table, and hopefully everything is going to come out and work to the betterment of the event, because the event is much needed. It's real simple. That's right. We want to go through the front door, Regia. That's right. We're not going through nobody's back doors or jumping through nobody's hoops. We want to do like everybody else does, and that's all. And if this issue right now is about liability clauses and things like that, especially, for those who might be able to pay for insurance, for a park like that, let me just say this. For events at Marion Square where there are over 500 people, they require a $1 million liability insurance on it. Okay? I'm Pastor Dixon. I'm on SSI. I know there are people who be talking that trash and crazy as heck. I almost cussed right then. Talking about I get paid for what I do. I never got paid for anything I do for our community. From nobody. over the table, under the table, around the table, by the table, near the table, nowhere near the table. I ain't never got paid by nobody to do what I do. My rewards will come when I leave here in the by and by because of what I did for my fellow man and woman. But when it comes to insurance, man, I barely got health insurance and life insurance. Barely. So when somebody tells me, well, you know, you're going to need liability, that's basically telling me, like, you ain't having this. And it's the same thing that I talked about 7 years ago. Exact same thing, because my position has not changed at all. At all. So I don't know who came up with this bright idea about telling me about what I don't have. But in turn, I told them I haven't changed anything in 7 years. I didn't have it then, and I don't have it now. So we're either going to do something to give the public, once again, to bring awareness to the public of the fact that our children are not being educated in a system that can educate our children. We're either going to have something that's going to bring awareness to the fact that people deserve to be paid right and to be able to bargain collectively as far as unions. We're going to be allowed to have this event where we'll address the reason why Dr. King died, the way that Dr. King died. Or we're going to raise enough cane to let those people know they need to go to work on his holiday because they don't believe in what he stands for. Real simple concepts. Real simple concepts. I'm going to cut this thing off. I see it's right now about 9:15 or so. I've been at it a little over a half hour. And I appreciate everybody from coming on. In closing, I want to say to all of our Jewish friends and family, listen, we need to stop allowing this system to divide us. If you take off the outer cover of skin from every last one of us, you wouldn't be able to tell a black person from a white person, from a Jewish person, from a Latino person, from a Native American person, from an Asian person. You would not be able to tell the difference without the skin on them. We are all the same. And we need to stop this division and this violence that's being perpetrated against others. To my Jewish brothers and sisters, I sent it out yesterday. I'm so sorry about what happened in Jersey City, New Jersey. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. If a person got beef with another person, deal with that beef. But how you have beef against a whole group of people? That's why I'll never understand slavery. How can you enslave a whole group of people? How can you almost kill off a whole group of people called Native Americans? How can you do that? Who does that? So it's time for us to learn, though, that we're in this together. It's time for us to get to the point of understanding that the only way that power is going to concede anything is that if we work together. That if we demand together. That if we all go to the polls and vote together for what's right and who's right. This is our task. This is our job. What's up, Nisi? How you doing, Ray? This is our job. This is what we are put here for. It's to serve one another. It's to serve one another. And as we approach Christmas, as we approach the new year, Dr. King's birthday, then the holiday after that. After that, Black History Month, which is actually a 365-day month. After that, Women's History Month. As we approach these things, I'm just encouraging everybody, please, to begin to think beyond the color of our skin, this covering that we have, and begin to look inside as to what we can do to work together, to live together, and how we can really love one another. You know, in this mayoral campaign, man, I heard a lot of folks say a lot of nasty things about me. But I'm going to put this out right now. Man, I love y'all. Every last one of y'all that said something wrong about me, lied about me and everything, I love you. And if you're ever in need, I'll be there for you. Because that's my job. That's my duty to humanity. I can't hold a grudge because that gives you control over my life. And I'll never let anybody have control over my life. I'll forgive you and move on with it. That's for sure. And we need to learn the lessons. Because together, if we stop all this bickering, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish. Power concedes nothing without demand. And if you and I join forces to demand, starting with joining forces right in our hearts, understanding that we are different and differences make us stronger, not enemies. Embracing each other's differences. We don't have to agree with each other in everything. But what we don't have to do is to be disagreeable because we disagree. So let's work on it, people. That's my challenge to everybody. I'm going to get back on with a live sometime real soon, okay, in between now and, well, there'll be an update coming as soon as I hear something from the permits people. More on Mrs. Higgins, of course. And as we move forward, just continue to pray or just seek whatever faith that you do in order to make sure that we're putting that energy out, you know, that we have to work together. We have to come together. We can't keep doing, allowing divisions to keep us from achieving all the greatness that we can as a people. And when I say a people, I mean all people together. I'll definitely be doing a live coming soon on the spirit of the holiday, okay? I just would like for everybody, when you see my notice that's coming, I'd like for you to just share that out and make sure that you have other people that's listening on about the spirit of the holiday. Because, and I'll just give you a preview, I just don't understand why at this particular time of year, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you got people who've been mean and evil for 11 months out of the year, all of a sudden doing some nice stuff for people. I don't understand why the season isn't year-round. Just like I don't understand why Black history is relegated to 28 days. Okay? I'm going to leave that right there. But listen, I appreciate all of you all. You are amazing. And I love all of you all. And should you ever need me, my phone number is on all of my social justice, all of my Facebook pages, all of my social media pages. Holler at your boy. Okay? Shoot me an inbox. You got issues or whatever. And we'll see what we can do to come together, and you know, to get them addressed. As we build on the coalition numbers, organizing, we'll have more opportunity to address more issues because we'll be more organized in how we go about it. And there'll be some employment opportunities, not necessarily with the coalition specifically itself, but others that I'm getting ready to share real soon. And we're going to need some people on the ground. We're going to need people on the ground out in Colleton County, out in Walterboro, out in Orangeburg. We're going to need some people on the ground in Charleston County, Dorchester, and Berkeley County. We're going to need people on the ground, and the pay is going to be decent. So please, let Ray and Pookie and them know. Leave the block alone for a little while. Let's get some real money in, some legitimate money that you ain't got to look over your shoulder about. Okay? For sure. And we'll be working on more and more of those things as we go along. Listen, I love you all. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Once again, from Mrs. Higgins, she sends her love and appreciation for everybody. And we'll talk again soon. Y'all take care. I love y'all. Peace.